Okay. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Officer Vidal. We can hear you.
Yeah, but this one don't have a microphone. It will start echoing. I'll have to.
Hey.
You can wear your backpack.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Hmm?
Hey Michelle, it's Oliver. The link in the email to the SLA list was the wrong link, so maybe you can send an updated, like an email with the updated link in case people like have problems joining from there. It was to the meeting from like 3 weeks ago, and not to the current one.
Good evening, everyone. I am so sorry to be late. Myself and the vice had a problem coming in. I'm not even sure if he's in yet. So I do apologize. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, Mr. Witherwax isn't in yet. We had the same issue, but all of you got on, so that's good. Hello, Officer Vidal.
How you doing there? How's it going?
Great. Thank you so much.
Good, good.
Okay. Now I have an echo.
Madam Chair, I had a problem too. I had to go to another link.
Yeah, you're echoing.
I'm echoing too. Yeah. I had to go through the community board calendar.
That's how I got in.
Email.
Can you speak? Let me see if you're echoing.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
No
You
echo.
hear me echoing?
So without an echo.
I don't hear an echo.
Okay, I think I'm fine now. Okay, great.
I don't hear, yeah, you're not echoing now.
Yeah, excellent. All right, thank you. Again, welcome. My apologies. We're going to jump right in. I just want to, just a little housekeeping. There's quite a few of us on, so either you can raise your hand or you can be noticed in the chat room. The hand might be a little easier. If you can just put that in, if you have a question. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. I just want to go through the attendance. Make sure that we have a quorum. Okay. Allison Kimani. Wayne Bailey. Gail Branch Muhammad. Janet Collins.
Present.
Thank you. Deanne Duke. James Ellis. Fred Frazier. Tamika Gibbs.
Present.
Thank you. Oliver Hart.
Present.
Thank you. Alicia Nocenso. Pierre Ortiz. Robert Puca. Celine Rosado. Brian Saunders.
Present.
Thank you. Meredith Staten. Mark Thurton.
Here.
Thank you. Ethel Tyus. Gibb is here. I'm here. Yersa Weatherspoon. Rob Widowax. Deborah Young.
Present.
Okay, thanks, Rob. And Deborah Young. Okay, so if you, Rod, can you do me a favor? Can you text to Fior and Deborah and James to please come in through the CB8 website?
I can
Because they're
email
having a
them.
problem
I don't
coming.
have their text numbers, but I'll email them.
Okay, thank you.
Who was it that you needed, Issa?
To let James Ellis, Deborah Young, and Fior Ortiz know
Okay.
that it's best for them to come in through the website. I think they had the same issue as a couple of us had getting in. Thank you. Okay, and Miss Nocenso is having a problem. Okay. Thank you, Gib. All right. We're gonna have to just a couple more minutes so we can get folks in that are trying to get in. So again, apologies. I'm not sure why some of us could get in and some of us could not.
Wow.
Deborah, you're in?
I'm in now.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Let's see who else had problems coming in if they have arrived.
Let's see, Fior and Gail, I know.
Okay,
Oh, Fior is in.
great.
Okay.
Are you able to communicate with Miss Muhammad
Yeah, I could communicate with her.
to
I'm gonna
come
put
in at
the
the
mute
CBA
so I can
website?
talk to her. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to her now. I'm gonna
Okay.
put myself on mute, okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just want to take attendance for the restaurants that are scheduled for this evening. When you hear your restaurant's name, can you please just let us know that you're here? Memphis Soul,
Yes, me.
and who am I speaking with?
Bart Hubbock, I'm the owner.
Thank you. And please and thank you. Are you here with us tonight? Please and thank you. Okay. Lower line,
Present. This is John Verlander, the owner.
thank you. And Essence Bar, Valier's Bar Corp, Friends and Lovers. Okay, so it seems like there's only two businesses on tonight. Let's jump right in.
Essa, I
Yes.
apologize.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that they may be having a problem also getting on?
I really can't say. I know that there are 3 applicants today that we have paperwork for. So the third one would be please and thank you. So I'm going to see if we have the application. Perhaps we can contact the owner or representative. Rob, can you do that, please?
Yes, I will reach out, see if I can figure that out.
Okay, we're going to be starting with lower line with John Verlander. Again, thank you for your patience. Your address is 794 Washington Avenue. Can you give us a cross street, please?
Yes, it's between Sterling Place and St. John's Place.
Wonderful, thank you. And you have been in operation for 3 years and 8 months.
That's correct.
And this is a restaurant bar, and you're seeking to renew with your wine and beer cider.
That's right.
Okay, so we have 4 tables, 8 seats at the tables, 1 bar with 6 seats. Maximum capacity is 18. Your hours of service is 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday is 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Music is soft background, played at a reasonable volume. Was this, you have an outdoor area? Was this part of your last application? You have no. And this is under the open restaurants program. And the size of the area is 20 by 8, 10 tables with 20 seats. Is that correct so far?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean that outdoor area under the open restaurants program is the only change since our last renewal.
Okay, so what I don't see are the hours that is open, that area. What are your
It
hours?
is,
I'm sorry?
yeah, I mean, so the the hours that are listed on the application are the I guess hours we've always sought on our application. We're open less hours than that at the moment, but we keep the outdoor seating area open, till the restaurant currently closes, which is 10 p.m.
Okay, so it's consistent to the hours you have for indoors. basically.
That
Okay.
that is correct, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. And you have in your amplified sound, it's 4 speakers, 200 wattage, located in the dining room. No
That's right.
live entertainment.
No,
Okay, for service employees, and your security measures outside of that are cameras and an alarm system.
that's correct.
Okay, so you have 8 people in the building where you're located, and left, right, and rear of you are 16 of those residents. Is that what you're saying?
Right,
Correct?
right.
Okay. Uh, so you're participating in an open program, compliance with city and state COVID-related dining restrictions, no changes planned before your next application.
That's right.
Okay. Were you able to post for tonight's meeting?
When you say was I able to post?
To let your neighbors know on either side of you, around you, that this meeting was to be occurring for your renewal.
Yeah, yes, I did, and I sent that posting a photo of that posting last week, along with the community board form, to the CB8's email address as requested in the email I received in advance of this meeting.
Okay, great. I'm just looking for it now. Let's see. Came in the email. I'm not seeing it. Did anyone else notice it? That's here. I see it now. Lower line. Yes. Okay. So I see that. I do see the posting. Okay. So thank you. So, Officer Vidal, do we have any complaints for this establishment?
No, looking back to January of 2020 to present date, I have no complaints for 3-on-1s and no criminal complaints either.
Great. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Is that echo again? Okay. Do we have a motion on this application, please?
Make
Chair
a motion to
Witherspoon?
support.
And this is James Ellis. I'll second.
Thank you. Can we do a roll call, please?
Certainly. Kiermany Allison. Wayne Bailey. Gail Branch Muhammad.
Yes.
Thank you. Janet Collins.
Yes,
Thank you. Diane Duke. James Ellis.
Yes.
Thank you. Fred Frazier. Tamika Gibbs.
Yes.
Thank you. Oliver Hart.
Yes.
Thank you. Alicia Nasenzo.
yes,
Thank you. Fior Ortiz Joyner.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Puca. Celine Rosado. Brian Saunders.
Yes.
Thank you. Meredith Staten. Mark Thurton. Mark, you with us?
Yeah.
Ethel Tyus.
Did you hear my
Thank you,
response?
Mr. Thurton.
Okay.
I did. I got you, Mark. Gib Vaconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Yrsa Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Witherwax, yes. Deborah Young.
Yes.
Ms. Young.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. No problem. 13 in favor. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. Ms. Collins, did you have a question?
no, I don't. I'm sorry, my hand is up there, right? I gotta take it down. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I was wondering if I missed it, and you know, it's too late now.
Let me-
Okay,
let me
great.
Take that down now, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Not a problem at all. Okay, next up is Memphis Soul.
Hello?
Hi, how are you? Could you pronounce
Good.
your last name, please?
Hubbuck.
Hubbuck. Okay, great. Thank you, Edward Hubbuck. Okay, so here we are at 569 Lincoln Place,
Yes.
Brooklyn, and your cross street is Franklin, your corner.
Right. Yes.
Okay. 2 years and 9 months in operation, restaurant and bar, renewal
Right.
seeking wine, beer, cider.
Correct.
Okay, so we have one table with 8 seats, 3 tables with 3 seats, and we have the capacity at 8, with your maximum being at 14. And your hours of service is 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday. Now, I notice here that you have maximum hours of service and then your current. So
Yeah.
explain the Monday and Tuesday being off. Is that what you're saying, that your
That
license?
was the hours that you're seeing right there were the hours before the pandemic and when we first did our application, and then the hours below that on the form are the current hours. We are nights only during the week from 5 to 10. And then Friday, we're 4 to 11. Saturday, and then we're Saturday and Sunday, we're open during the day, 12 to 11 on Saturday and 12 to 10 on Sunday. And, but I mean, we are leaving out the possibility of going back to our daytime hours during the week. It's just, you know, it was not feasible to do that during the pandemic. And, but now, you know, it's like we're, you know, just judging on demand and stuff. So, you know, I think that decision will be made, you know, once we get into next year. So,
Yeah, I understand. I just really
Yeah.
want to make sure that Monday and Tuesday is on your license as your hours are open every day.
yeah.
I just want to confirm that.
Right.
Okay, I thank you. All right. So now, so you're using the outdoor service and participating in the open restaurants.
Yes.
It's a freestanding covered structure.
Yes. It's like a cabana type
That's a cabana.
with two, you know, modules or whatever, I guess we would say.
Okay.
The 3 modules, you know, we have also, yeah, we can expand it to 3 modules.
So in its fullest expansion, it's 30 feet by 8.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 3 tables, 4 seats at the table.
Mhm.
All right, and again, it's the capacity is 8 and the maximum is 30 for the outdoor space. And it looks like your hours are consistent with inside, which is 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That was Sunday. Excuse me. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes.
Friday 4 p.m. to 11, and Saturday 12 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Right. And then Sunday, 12 to 10.
10. Yes. No live music after 8.
Correct.
All right. So you do have live music going on, though?
Well, we just did a experiment 3 Saturdays in September. We had a jazz band asked us if we wanted them to perform, and we had it, and we had them finish by 8. It didn't really, you know, kind of move the needle. It didn't do what I was hoping it would do. So we're not having them anymore. So we're not having any live music anymore.
Okay, and so that was happening on the sidewalk.
It happened on we actually one of the modules outside. We put a tarp down and then had them. They put their equipment out there and played a short set.
Okay, outside. Okay.
Right.
So you tried it didn't work. So
yeah, I mean it just wasn't. I mean it was nice and people told me they liked the music. A couple of people complained even though it was like 7 o'clock in the evening, you know. But it just didn't, you know, it didn't really attract the crowds I was hoping it would. So we just decided not to do it anymore because they were charging us, you know, $250 a pop. So
understood. So when
Yep.
I want to say again, you have no live music after
Correct.
8 p.m.
We don't have any live music, period.
Don't have it at all.
Yeah,
So okay, I just wanted to be really clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a little experiment. Yeah. But otherwise it's just the music from the television inside. So
Okay, and that's just where it is inside.
yeah.
Okay, and you have a number of service employees of 2, and no other security measures. You have 10 employees and you have 5 cameras installed, including 2 outside facing the street. Number of residences where building is located is 10, and number of residents in buildings adjacent to the premises, left, right, and rear is commercial store. That's what you have here. Right? Are we correct? Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Can you hear me? Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. All right. So I do have a letter that I want to read, as it was a complaint that came in to the community board.
Okay.
Okay, so it says, I'm writing this letter out of great concern for our community. I have been a resident. I have been a resident on the block of Lincoln Place between Franklin and Classen Avenues for over 23 years. Over the last 10 years, I've witnessed the rapid acceleration of development and gentrification in our neighborhood, mostly without regard for residents' needs. The block that I live on is mostly residential, but we are bookended by businesses, some that have been a welcome resource, such as Lincoln Postal, and some that have unfortunately caused great harm to our community, such as Gladys and Memphis Soul. That has brought large amounts of garbage, rat infestations, and noise. Many residents, including myself, were quite relieved when Gladys closed down because it reduced the amount of trash that was carelessly thrown out and often blocking passage on our sidewalks, and what we thought would result in a reduction of rats on our block. Unfortunately, Memphis Soul, which in parentheses pre-pandemic only seated about 4 people inside of their establishment, took advantage of the situation by opening up a sprawling outdoor seating structure that now takes up 3 parking spaces. One half for customer seating and the other half they use as private parking for a large van. When the van isn't present, they block the space with police barricades or other structures to prevent public use of the parking space. Over the summer, Memphis Soul employed a live band to play in front of their establishment for at least 3 weekends in a row. This caused great stress to our community, as we are also subjected to the noise, music, and reckless behavior of Franklin Park, which is behind our building. There was basically nowhere in our apartments that anyone could find a quiet place to relax, sleep, or just be during those times. On the afternoon of October 21st, I was waiting for an accessoride so that I could help my neighbor who uses a walker into her apartment, when I noticed a man who was taping notices to buildings, then taking a picture, then taking the notice down. When he got to my building, I asked what he was doing. He told me that he was opening a restaurant where Gladys used to be, which is 2 buildings over from my own. I asked to see what he was posting and taking down, and it was the public notice about this hearing today, where his business please and thank you hospitality and the application for his liquor license and sidewalk seating. I explained to him how awful it was that he would fake sharing this public notice. However, it is unfair to the people who live on this block, who have to endure the filth and noise created by local restaurants and bars, and that his attempt to deny us the opportunity to even object to it beyond acceptable, but rather utterly disrespectful to the very people in the community that he's trying to establish a business in. I'm requesting that community board deny please and thank you hospitality and liquor license, as well as Memphis Soul for renewing their liquor license. The community board please take consideration in these types of businesses that are allowed to operate on the blocks that are mainly residential. Our community doesn't need another late night bar or restaurant. We're already overrun with visitors from those establishments that do not respect our community and see us and our sidewalks as an extension of those establishments, bathrooms, and dumpsters. So I just like to get comments from you, Mr. Hubbuck, regarding this letter.
Well, part of it was not even referring to me. It's referring to the people that are replacing Gladys, which that's not us. And I would basically just deny pretty much all of that. I mean, like I told you, we had live music on 3 Saturdays, and it was finished by 8 o'clock.
Right.
We don't have a rat problem. Our garbage does not go out until 9 or 10 o'clock on the night that it's picked up by our private carting company. And I am, any of my employees or anybody that lives around there can tell you that I am like the friendly neighborhood shopkeeper out there sweeping and picking up trash and keeping that corner, spotless as I can. I do it myself. I don't have my porter out there doing it. And, that was kind of a rough corner, and it was made even worse when Gladys went out of business in June of 2020, and the landlords let that sit vacant for over a year. And but meanwhile, and the seating area in front of that just went to seed almost immediately. I would even go around there and pick up the trash, and so I don't like I run a restaurant. I can't have I'd be the stupidest restaurant owner in the world to let trash pile up in front of my restaurant. How's that going to convince people to come eat there? I just don't, I just think it's people that have a problem with just any restaurant being on that street. But it's New York, it's it's a mix of restaurants and establishments and residential. I mean, I don't understand. And as far as the outdoor seating, we were just taking advantage of, like every other, restaurant in New York, taking advantage of the open seating program. We follow that to within the letter of the law. We've had the police out there. We've had the Department of Transportation out there multiple times, and they've approved every single time. We're just going in. I'm sorry they lost their parking spots, but that's the effect that every restaurant outdoor seating has had on this situation. So we're not doing anything illegal, or we're just following the letter of the law and the program that the city offered us to, and it's been a great boon for our business. In the height of the pandemic, it greatly improved our in-store sales, and I just like to feel like I'm a good contributor to the community. I try and keep that place clean. That corner had a really bad reputation before we came there. Had a lot of I talked to many NYPD officers that said there was multiple shootings and killings there, and and now it's a nice safe corner. I have it lit up. I have their camera on there. Like I said, I appreciate their concerns, but I just feel like I'm just trying to run a business, contribute to the community, pay taxes, employ people, give people jobs, and I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. So
Okay. Thank you for your comment. I'm going to ask Officer Vidal, do we have any complaints on this establishment?
Going back a year, I do have 7 noise complaints, which seem to coincide to when he's had the bands out. So that's all I have for this establishment.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to get questions from the community. I see some hands up, so I'm going to start with those questions first. So we have, is it Owasa Duvernay?
Hi, it's Oasa.
Oasa, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No
Welcome.
problem.
You have a question or comment?
I have a comment. The letter that you read was a letter that I wrote. I've lived in this community for 23 years, and what Memphis Soul considers rough is actually where we live. It's where we have our families, our friends. It's how we build community. I won't deny that there's been a lot of violence here, but that doesn't mean that businesses should be allowed to legally commit acts of violence against the community. I have seen several dead rats in front of his establishment. I have seen live ones run across. The building that I live in is 2 buildings away from the building that houses the shops on the block. So I'm well aware of the rat and garbage problem, probably more aware of the people who run the businesses, because they are only here for a limited amount of hours, is where the people who live on this block live with it. As far as the parking spaces are concerned, it is a problem. Why this person thinks that they should be entitled to private parking on this block, I do not understand. I understand, when you run a business, you're just trying to do your best usually, but typically your best should be respectful to the people who live in the community. I'm hoping that moving forward that Bart can do better. He is not considered the friendly neighborhood business owner. I've seen him get into arguments with several people. I've never had a confrontation with him myself, just because I do not have time for nonsense. And I do not waste my breath on arguing with people in that manner. And that's all I have to say for now. I just hope that he does better, and I hope that Community Board 8 can help the actual residents of the community and prioritize our needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duvernay. Okay, it's not going to be a particular order. It's going to be the hands that I actually see on the frame. So Rob, can you please, if you have a question or comment?
Sure. Mr. Hubbock, you're in good company if you think you'd be a bad business owner if you let garbage and rats happen. Many of our bad perpetrators feel exactly the same way in this community. It's not entirely within your control, but it's also not something you can wave away. I'd like to focus on the parking space. Do you, as the letter suggests, cordon off a parking space for private use?
We are able under the program to use also take advantage of the parking. We have. You can also
yes
have.
Or no? Do you cordon off a space for your private parking?
It's not specifically for parking. We use
Do
it.
You use it for a service.
We also use it for outdoor seating too.
And this is street side. This is in the roadbed.
Yeah. It's within okay. So under the program, we are allowed to use the street area that's equal to the frontage of our building.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're doing. As you know, we have some 2 temporary structures. Well, 3 actually. We have the one main gazebo, I guess you would call it, and then we have the 3 structures that we can create a 3rd seating area. And it just goes to the edge of our restaurant. And that's like I was saying, we're within the letter of the law. We've had the Department of Transportation come multiple times. We've had the police come out and approved it. The community officer, one of the community officers from the 77th precinct approved it. And so sometimes when the temporary structure is not being used for seating, we push it in and then we park the van there. But we're just taking advantage of the space that's
so is it ever
under the program?
So it's always either or. It's always either a van or it's used for seating.
Correct.
There's never a 3rd phase where it's cordoned off and barricades are put in the way to prevent the public from using it, but you haven't put seating there either. That would be within my reading of the law. It's either for your van to be used for business purposes, or it's to be used for seating, but you can't just reserve the space.
We put the table out there all the time. Yes, we put the table
with
out
seats.
Yes.
Well,
we have 3 large tables for that area out there.
All right. Well, we'll come back to this. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I just want to say something because I've actually passed this place a couple times, including today. So in terms of that structure that you're speaking of, and you're saying that you have the right to, from end to end of your business,
correct,
have that coverage for your seating.
Mm-hmm.
That structure that you have set up does it satisfies that width of your business,
Correct.
but your van does not. So, and I see that van there. So the van is parked right before the hydrant.
Yeah, but like I said, we have the 3 temporary barriers that have the 50-pound. We'll have 150 pounds of sand in them. Yeah, we set those up temporarily just because we don't, we don't always have the demand as far as like during the week. So not necessarily we don't set up that seating, all the time. But yeah, you're allowed to have a temporary structure like that. Like I said, they give us the width of the restaurant, and like I said, I mean, I appreciate y'all's concerns, but we've had the DOT come out multiple times. We've had the police come out, and it's been approved every time because we're following the letter of the regulation.
Right, but that structure that you have that you're speaking of, okay,
Right.
that's that structure. The structure I saw this evening,
Yeah.
covers the size, the entrance of your business.
Right.
That van that's cordoned off a space does not.
I mean, it goes. I mean,
So
if you wanna, I mean, maybe it goes like 1 foot outside the.
No, it's more than that. It's more than that because
Well.
it's definitely more than that. But I just want you to be aware that I have seen
Okay.
more than.
I mean, we can adjust. I have no problem adjusting and staying within making sure that the van is within the distance.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I mean, it can't be moved too much farther down because there's a fire hydrant there. So.
Yeah, I know there's a fire hydrant there, and this white van, is it white? This van?
Yes, correct.
Okay, it's parked a few feet away from it. So
okay.
I know that it's there, but I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
I'm gonna move on to Deborah Young. Do you have a question or comment, please?
Yes, I do. I want to ask, is that vehicle, the van, is it a commercial vehicle?
Pardon me?
Is it the white van, is it a commercial vehicle?
It is not a commercial vehicle.
Okay, so it doesn't have commercial plates on it.
It does not. No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Joyner.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say that the first part of the letter that you read, Madam Chair, did refer to Mr. Hubbock's establishment. He stated that the live band was a trial and it didn't happen again, but according to the author, he had a live band 3 weeks in a row, which Police Officer Vidal's report actually supports. So I just want to confirm and get some clarity.
You must have misheard me then, because I said we did it 3 Saturdays in a row.
Well, excuse me, I just heard the fact that you did it once and it didn't work out. So pardon me for that.
No.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. But I just wanted to say and get some clarification, because I know it's happened with a prior establishment that establishments can't have live music on a sidewalk, regardless if it's a trial or whatever else. So I just wanted to state that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Collins?
Yes, good evening. I would also just like to piggyback on that last comment that Mr. Hubbock.
Yes.
Yes, you did state it was done only one time.
No, you must have misheard me. No, I said we did it 3.
No, let me.
No, I said that was a trial.
Let me finish.
Okay.
You said it was done one time. We have the recording. Okay, so we can easily go back and hear your voice say it was one time.
Okay.
And now you're admitting to more than one time. So that's an inconsistency. Also, the outdoor music on your application. Let me just go back to it. It says noise attenuation measures, no live music after 8 p.m. So that would be a problem, but we've already talked about live music anyway outside.
For the record, we are not doing live music anymore. We are done
Yes,
with
but
it.
the application does not say that. The application
Okay.
just says no live music after 8 p.m. So that means before 8 p.m. you intend to have live music. And then I'd like to address the, what was read in the letter about you putting up the posting and then taking a picture and then taking it back down so the residents don't know. Can you speak to that, please?
That wasn't me. You were talking about the person from that was replacing Gladys. That's not.
Well, maybe the woman who was on before, she can clarify that in the letter.
Sure, I can clarify.
Thank you.
The letter I wrote was about both Memphis Soul and Gladys. I'm sorry, and the company that's replacing Gladys, and that would be Please and Thank You Hospitality. I believe it's
That's not me. Yeah.
Scott Dansby. It's Scott Dansby that I witnessed posting and taking down the notices. I'll have to say too that Memphis Soul, if they were required to post anything, I saw no postings of theirs. What I did witness is after I scolded Mr. Dansby, I did see some of the notices go up and they were gone within a couple of hours.
Thank you.
And then to clarify some things about the music with Memphis Soul, I'm happy to hear that it won't be coming back. When it did happen, those 3 weekends in a row, the latest it went to was about 9:45.
No, that's
It
false.
start around 7 o'clock, and I know this for a fact because I had to deal with it while trying to rewrite my syllabus. Because the people who live here also work, and some of us have to work at home in the evenings. And it was unbearable.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much again for clarification. I just want to note as well that I'm glad that the music has ceased because it is not part of the Open Restaurants program. And I also want to say that Mr. Hubbuck did say that he did this trial for a few weeks. So he did mention that. So I just wanted to say that. Okay, next would be Oliver and then Sharon Wedderburn. Oliver Hart, then Sharon Wedderburn.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to say for the notices, I've walked past this block like every day, multiple times, and I've seen more notices for the restaurant is going to be Gladys than any notice I've ever seen posted for a liquor store liquor license application, like all up and down on Franklin. It was really hard to miss those, and they were up for. They're still up. So I'd like to think that was not like it was represented in the letter. As for the noise for the concerts, I cannot speak to that, but generally when I walk by that place in the evenings, there's rarely anyone sitting outside, and it's very quiet. But overall, it's been, I think, a positive contribution to that corner. I remember when we discussed the Gladys outdoor cafe license like a couple of years back, one of the committee members actually remarked to me that that is a bad idea to put an outdoor cafe on that corner. And I think that corner has improved since. So overall, I'm also a big fan of the fried chicken of your place, Mr. Hubbuck. So
glad to hear.
So that's my comment.
Hi. So I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, Ursa.
Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I just wanted to say, Mr. Hubbuck, in terms of the parking of your van, those of us who live through the parking hell that is known as Crown Heights and Prospect Heights are rather suspicious when a van is frequently located in the same location, and it would give credence to the fact that you're trying to cordon off that space, irrespective of your outdoor dining space. So that doing something like that is being a bad neighbor.
I will say that I live in the neighborhood. I only live 2 blocks away on Lincoln Place. So it's not like I'm a outsider.
I didn't say you were an outsider. I'm
well,
just saying being a bad
it
neighbor.
seems like it's been
Nope, that's not me.
I got that feeling from the letter and stuff like that. But anyway, okay, so that's I'm not accusing anything. I will say,
so just be mindful. Just
yeah,
be mindful of that. Seriously, when we see somebody even in a residential block with no commercial, if we see someone consistently parking in the same space, it warrants suspicion. And we consistently see that van when we walk past Lincoln Place.
Right. I understand.
Okay. Any more questions?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a point of information.
Yes, Ms.
Correct
Collins.
me if I'm wrong, but I think when Mr. Hubbuck said a
Hubbuck.
couple of weekends, that was after the letter was written. But before the letter, before the after the letter was read. But before the letter was read, he stated if he tried it once and it did not work.
Now, I was talking
Live
about,
music. Let me finish.
I was
please.
talking about
Live.
as a trial, as
As
a whole. It was an experience, an experiment as a whole,
Well,
singular,
I
but
just
it was
wanted to
done
make-
3.
Can I finish, please?
Sure.
I just want to make that point that it was after the letter was read that, unless I'm wrong, but I know someone else heard something. I don't know. Just want to point that out. That's what I heard.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Collins. Give a Coney.
Hi, I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I should first say that one of my major hobbies right now is helping to manage the Open Street program on Vanderbilt Avenue, where I've learned quite a bit about DOT policies for open streets and open restaurants. So just for not only Mr. Hubbock's edification, but also for the folks who are concerned about what's going on in his open restaurant setup, the DOT website explicitly states you may not have performances in your open restaurant setup. That's the only thing you can do there is outdoor dining, and you cannot use it as a place to park vehicles either. So if you're not building out your open restaurants setup into a space that you plan to do outdoor dining in, you're not in compliance with their regulations, and you have to have an enclosed area where your tables are set up. I posted the citing guidelines in the chat in an earlier message. Further, if you were to do outdoor music there and on the sidewalk, you would need a permit from the Street Activity Permit Office to do that. You'd need a sidewalk permit, and then you'd also need a permit from the police to have sound amplification there. And if you haven't got those, you're also operating illegally. So it seems like it's an easy thing to stick a band outside of your restaurant, but if you want to do it in a way that's compliant with the law, you have to do the things I've just said. Otherwise, you're in violation.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I understand that, and we're done with live music, so I don't think anybody needs to be worried about that. So.
No, but this is a meeting where there are a number of proprietors here who potentially might have thoughts similar to yours. I want to make sure everybody understands. You may not put a band on your sidewalk without a SAPO permit and a sound device permit from the police department. You may not put a band in your open restaurant setup in any event. It's not allowed. Although the community board is not involved in enforcing anything related to open restaurants, if somebody who is a neighbor of an establishment sees that they are running a DJ or a band or anything else in their open restaurant setup, that's a violation, and they should report it to 311 and report it to the Department of Transportation, because that operator can get a cease and desist order from the Department of Transportation for what they're doing. The open restaurant setup is there for outdoor dining, nothing else, and that really needs to be upheld. And any other entertainment has to follow all of the same procedures and get all of the same permits that were in place before COVID hit. Those who are finding issue with this have some avenues to pursue this in.
Thank you very much, Gib. I don't see any more questions. Can I have a motion on this application, please? Anyone?
I would like to move that the committee recommend renewal of this liquor license with the explicit direction that there be no more live entertainment outside of the establishment without proper permits.
Do we have a second?
I second it. It's Mark Thurton.
Thank you. Mr. Whittle-Wax, can you do the roll, please?
Before we do that, may I make an amendment?
What's your amendment, Ms. Collins?
In the application, does the application then need to be adjusted where he says live music before 8 o'clock, not after 8 p.m.? Is that necessary within the motion?
I would say not, because there is no music that's allowed on the sidewalk. It's pretty
Okay.
clear. Yeah, but thank you for reminding us. Rob, roll, please.
Chairman Allison, Jane Bailey, Gail Branch Mohammed, and Ms. Mohammed, say it again.
No.
Thank you. Janet Collins.
No.
Thank you. James Ellis.
Yes.
Thank you. Tamika Gibbs.
Abstain.
Thank you. Oliver Hart.
Yes.
Thank you. Alicia Nasenzo.
Hear me?
No, say it again.
Yes.
Thank you. Fior Ortiz Joyner.
No.
Thank you. Robert Puca, Celine Rosado, Brian Saunders.
No.
Thank you. Mark Thurton. Mark, say it again.
Yes.
Thank you. Gib Vaconi.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Ethel Tyus. Gib Vaconi, yes. Yrsa Weatherspoon.
No.
Thank you. Robert Witherwax, yes. Deborah Young.
No.
Thank you. The motion fails. 6 in favor, 6 opposed, 1 abstention. I would like to make a motion, if that's all right, Madam Chair,
Absolutely.
to approve with the same stipulation that Mr. Vaconi just did about no live music, but also with the stipulation that the restaurant either use all of its allotted space for permanent seating or give some of it up permanently, but it can't have it both ways.
Second.
I guess, yeah, second.
Who did
I
the
heard
second? That,
Mr. Vaconi and Mr. Saunders.
Okay,
Can I make a friendly amendment?
sure.
I'll entertain it, Gail.
This is Deborah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Deb.
This is Ms. Young.
It's okay.
Yes,
It's okay. I'd like to make an amendment that the owner try to work a little more collaboratively with the residents of the community to try to resolve some of the concerns that's been expressed by them.
Okay.
I've got no problem with that. I think that's a good policy and for anybody. So
And-
to restate my motion, a motion in favor of the renewal with the 3 stipulations that no live music, no flexible parking space, either permanent seating or not at all. And the owner, the proprietor will engage in productive dialogue with the community.
And the second, do you agree with this amendment?
I second it.
Wait. There's already a second on the motion. Who seconded the motion?
Mr.
Initially.
Saunders and Mr. Vaconi kind of tied.
I will second.
All right. Is that all? Is that fine? Shall I call the roll? Any questions?
I'm sorry, the second agree with the adjustment, the amendment?
Yes, I agree with the amendment.
Awesome. Yes. Okay, please, Rob, roll call.
All right. Gail Branch Mohammed.
Does
Yes.
the operator agree to it?
Yeah. Does the operator agree to that?
Yes,
He did.
absolutely.
Yes, he did.
I didn't
Thank
hear
you.
that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gail was a yes. Thank you, Ms. Branch Mohammed. Janet Collins.
No.
Thank you. James Ellis.
Yes.
Thank you. Tamika Gibbs.
Yes.
Thank you. Oliver Hart.
Yes.
Thank you. Alicia Nasenzo.
Yes.
Thank you. Fior Ortiz Joyner.
Yes.
Thank you. Brian Saunders.
Yes.
Thank you. Mark Thurton.
Yes.
Thank you. Gib Vaconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Yrsa Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Witherwax, yes. Deborah Young. Ms. Young. Not hearing Ms. Young, I have the motion passing 11 in favor, 1 opposed.
Thank you. I just want to remind the establishments that the full board meeting will be the 10th of November, which is a Wednesday. Normally we meet on Thursday, but because of Veterans Day, we will be meeting on November 10th at 6:15. Thank you. Next up, I did ask for please and thank you.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Young just wanted to state that her vote was a yes.
Great,
Thank you, Ms. Young.
thank you. All right, next up is please and thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Robert Callahan.
Yes, Mr. Callahan.
I also have Mr. Matt Dansby joining me.
Okay, and who are you, Mr. Callahan?
I'm the
patient?
expediter.
Okay,
Mr. Dansby is the owner of the establishment.
okay.
So
Mr. Dansby, you're here?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Thank you. Hi. I'm gonna run your application that's before me.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is Please and Thank You Hospitality LLC, doing business as Elliott. You're located at 571 Lincoln Place, store number 2, AKA 788 Franklin Avenue, which is the former space of Gladys, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as a new applicant, you're seeking, well, I'm not sure what you're seeking. It's not listed. It's a restaurant bar.
It's a restaurant. Yes, restaurant bar. Yes, ma'am.
So what license are you seeking?
Full bar license.
Full
Okay,
on-premise liquor license.
Yes.
okay, it's not checked off on your application.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so you're planning for 7 tables, 18 seats, 1 bar, 9 seats at that bar, with a total capacity of 27. Your operating hours of service is Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. and from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. And
Yes.
okay, great. And you are participating in the open restaurant seating. And your plan is, tell me what your plan is in terms of that seating.
I was thinking that the seating that's on Lincoln doesn't really work. I don't think I'm going to put tables there. That's too close to traffic and everything. But I'm going to have some tables out front. And if you guys approve, then I'll put a small little section on the street as well.
Okay, because you have 3 different measurements here, 2 on Franklin and 1 on Lincoln. So I'm just trying to figure out
I can
what is
explain
that.
those.
Okay, so please, if you
Okay.
could.
So the sidewalk on Franklin will be using 4 feet of the sidewalk, but the length of the store, which is 27 feet 6 inches. Then there's a little spot. You can't use the roadway on that side because of the fire hydrant, so you have to stay 15 feet away from the fire hydrant. So that leaves 10 feet 6 inches. I'm sorry. It leaves 12 feet. So you could use a small area in from the corner, 15 feet from the hydrant for 12 feet. And then on the Franklin Avenue side, the Lincoln Place side, there's 4 feet of sidewalk available, which is 10 feet 6 inches across. But if I think I heard you say that you weren't going to use that side?
I'm using that side now.
Okay, so then it would just be the 2 on Franklin Avenue. It would be 4 feet tables the length of the storefront, and then 12 feet towards the other restaurant in the roadway.
Okay, so you'll be in the roadway and then on the sidewalk.
Yeah, just on that one side.
Okay, and you're doing away with the Lincoln Place. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I heard Mr. Dansby say that, so we'll do that.
Okay, so I just want that confirmed. Okay, so please let us know the seats and the tables for the 27x4 sidewalk on Franklin.
Okay, so the 4 and 8 in the street are gonna be the Franklin Avenue side in the street. The 10.6x4 would have to get rid of, I think, 4 and 8. So we'll take away, so it will be 8 seats and 8 tables and 20 seats.
So I'm going to ask you that again. Tell me how many tables and seats at your 27x4 sidewalk structure.
8 tables
Mm-hmm.
and 20 seats.
20 seats. And for your 12x8 in the roadway, what is that?
4 tables and 8 seats.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm going to just move on. So I noticed that you have Mr. Dansby.
Yes, ma'am.
You have 11 partners, principals along with you?
Yes. And my partner, Chef Mark Mata, is actually on this call as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to just move on. So your service for outdoor, what the hours that you're proposing is Sunday and Saturday at 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Is that correct?
Well, I want to be able to make sure that the neighbors aren't going to be inundated with having too much noise. So I can stop my seating at 9 and have it completely closed by 10:30 and everybody out of there if that's agreeable to you guys. I want to make sure that we're making it so that you guys you're our neighbors, but I'm also a neighbor as well. I live over on Eastern Parkway in Bedford, so you're going to see me there a lot. And I just want to make sure that I don't want to keep people out there late and having noise issues for the community. So if you're saying that if you want the cafe closed at 10 and everybody out, I can make that happen as well.
That would be great. That actually would be great. That really falls in line with what we do. So that's great.
No, I love that.
Okay.
We're going to be I'm part of the community. We're going to be a big part of it. And we have some initiatives that I'll tell you about when it's time. But I just wanted, like, the liquor license for inside, we're not going to be staying open until midnight. But in case I do have a buyout of the restaurant and a function's going on, I don't want it there to be an issue. But, having it closed definitely by midnight is what's worked for me. We were thinking about closing an hour earlier generally, but having the opportunity to sell until midnight for functions and stuff, in the future.
Thank you. Okay, so we're moving now through amplified sound.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that I have this correctly. So the outside seating will end at 10:30 p.m. 7 days a week?
10.
10?
I'm good with that. Thank you.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Okay, so the amplified sound, you're expecting to have your bar with 2 speakers with a wattage of 350, and you will have no live entertainment, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so now we have your service employees, there are 12 of them that you're planning, along with 8 cameras.
Yes, there'll be inside and outside cameras.
Okay, wonderful. And the number of residences in the building where your restaurant will be are 6, and you have none on the left, 8 on the right, and 16 behind you. The number of residents in buildings adjacent to the premises.
That's correct.
So far, so good. Okay. All right. I do want to ask you what your benefit is that you're bringing to the community, what you think is a standout for you as a new business coming in.
Yeah, so I've lived here for many years now. My girlfriend's lived here for longer. I've been like in Crown Heights a lot, and I remember the Gladys spot. We're working with people already, even in the design of the building. I had a tenant that lives upstairs. His name is Kevin Penderson, and he was mentioned to me as he was leaving one day that the previous place had an issue with their trash, and it was really bad outside. And he didn't like that the trash area looked bad for the community and everything. I talked to my designer, and we were actually working on making that trash area look so much better, be more operational, be something that, when you're coming in and out of that building, you would be able to like really feel better about that. We were going to make sure that we're there. I'm an owner operator. I'm going to be there almost every day. So if anybody has an issue or anything, they can definitely come to me. I'm very approachable. We've been talking about things we can do for the community, such as having a pop-up. So I talked to 3 chefs in the area that right now they don't have restaurants, or they're looking for spaces, and they want to be able, we want to be able to host them one night a month. We're talking about doing it on Sunday nights, where they will be able to come in and cook their menu, and they'll keep all the proceeds from the food sales that night. And we'll promote it, and we will help them source whatever ingredients they need. So up to the Department of Health codes and everything that we have to abide by. And we'll be able to like feature these chefs. And I have Anthony Barr, who's in the community. My friend Musa Cham, who I worked with at JG Mellon. He's currently working at a food co-op, but he was kind of wanting to dip his toe back in cooking. And so he was pretty interested in doing a night with us also. And then Mr. Taco, who works at Izzy's now, is looking for spaces, and he wants to do a pop-up also. So we'll be featuring people of the community that kind of have a voice, and we want to be able to promote them and give them a shot to like get a better kind of following, whatever we can bring, and also help them make money so that they can make their dreams come true. We're going to have remodeling the restaurant. We're going to change out the windows, just do basic decor stuff and everything. It's going to be a nice space. I've talked to a lot of people. Pastor Torres, who's in the area, and he has a church, I believe it's off of Bedford, and we were talking about maybe hosting or doing something for them. So we really are wanting to engage with the community to make our space theirs, and just be a part and a good neighbor. And I've talked to, I got some letters of approval from the tenants who live upstairs, and they mentioned that when it was Gladys late at night after the restaurant closed, employees would stay late, play music really loud. We're not doing that. We're totally respectful. My partner and I started working together in 2012 at the Mermaid Inn. We worked through Sandy. We worked through a lot of things. I have been working personally in restaurants for a very long time. We're bringing a combined knowledge, and we're just really looking forward to presenting what we have to the community and for the community.
Thank you. I just want you to also know, I don't know if, were you here when I recited a letter?
Yes, ma'am, I was, yes.
Okay, so there is a concern there. Just it's just important to strike a balance with all your neighbors, prospective neighbors. This particular neighbor, who I believe is still on board, felt slighted. I don't know if it was you or whoever it was that was posting, and that was the impression that she was left. So I just need to just remind you, and if you can just speak more about that situation, if you know anything about it.
Yeah. I feel horrible with that situation. It was totally my fault. We were doing canvassing the neighborhood. I was first, and then my partner and I did it another day. I got the notice that we needed to put up the flyers. I went around putting up a lot of them on Franklin, and I was coming through, and I was actually on my way to work. I'm working right now in a restaurant, and I realized that I only had a couple more flyers left. So I decided to space them out as I was walking down Lincoln, and I did take off that as well. And went back and put more flyers out 2 or 3 days later, canvassing the whole area again. You know, if you look in your package, you probably see like tons and tons and tons of pictures of the flyers that I put up. Yeah, and the young woman was understandably upset, and I apologize for whatever what I did to make you upset. And I really just want her to know, and everybody else to know, that I am really going to make an effort to include the community in our space. And I'm looking forward to being able to prove to her and to everybody else that we're good operators, because, you know, I've worked for a lot of restaurants over the years, and I've learned a lot, and integrity is very important. And I really want to be able to prove to you guys that we are going to be a great operator and a great addition. You know, that corner has been dark for a while. The lights have been off and everything. Having us come in there is going to be really great. We're excited about the menu, and yeah, I just want to be able to have a chance to prove to everybody that we were going to be great. And we already are speaking to like suggestions that are coming up from our neighbors and everything. And I am totally approachable. And if you have any questions, or if you have any desires or anything, or, you know, just please approach me. Any complaints, I'm here for you. Yeah, I believe that answers.
Okay, thank you. I do want to ask before I open it up for other questions. What is your menu? What's your cuisine?
It's going to be American. We're going to use that grill that Gladys had. We're not really changing the footprint of the kitchen, but we're going to have a lot of vegetables. We're going to have a lot of grilled meats. And I think with the papers that you guys were sent, there was a menu, but we're going to have a lot of like really healthy options, grilled meats, vegetables, the whole thing, mainly American, because you can really play with American more than anything else. It's pretty open. And it's going to be seasonal and regional. So we're changing the menu 2 or 3 times a year, but tweaking it, you know, constantly as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to open up to some questions from our community. Anyone from the community, not board members, that would like a question or comment, please. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to move on to the folks that I see with raised hands. In this order: Gibb, Tamika, Fior, and Oliver, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Witherspoon. Mr. Dancy, you said you're not gonna use Lincoln Place because of traffic. You're not gonna use the curbside, the roadway seating because of traffic, but you're gonna use the Franklin Avenue side. Is it Franklin Avenue busier as far as traffic concerned?
I just think that with the building there and the neighbors right there in the entryway, I was thinking that it would be just nicer not to have that right there. And I wanted to be able to just like not have as much seating, so it's not taking away from the moving of people coming and going on the sidewalks. It makes more sense to have it right in front. It'll be like a little more desirable.
Is it? I'm talking about the curbside seating due to the open streets thing since COVID. I'm talking about the curbway seating first of all.
About the road
coming to the sidewalk as well. The roadway seating, correct?
Yeah. Well, I guess we could explain it this way. We understand the neighborhood's problem with losing parking, and that side of the restaurant is all parking spaces. The other side of the restaurant is a hydrant and then another 12 feet. So instead of taking up all of the parking spaces on that street, we stay 15 feet from the hydrant where nobody could park anyway, and just take 12 feet. So it'll free up some parking spots.
Okay, I'm well aware of the neighborhood. I walk past it every day as well. I'm concerned about the congestion on Franklin Avenue as well as the parking, but that's a whole other story. Another question in reference to the sidewalk. Are you, I'm not sure, maybe Ms. Witherspoon and probably Mr. Gibb Piccone can probably rectify. Isn't the city still doing the sidewalk permits to where if you use the sidewalk outside of your property line, that requires a permit? But I hear you talking about sidewalk parking. I hear you talking about sidewalk seating as well as we know that the curbside is something new. In reference to sidewalk, where are your chairs actually at on the sidewalk?
All right, the chairs and tables have to stay, they have to abut the restaurant. With the open restaurant seating on the sidewalk, you can use up to half of the sidewalk, but a lot of the sidewalks are very wide.
Narrow.
You know
You
what?
want the
Some of them
corner.
are wide, so like people won't take up 10 feet of a 20-foot sidewalk. This sidewalk, I believe, is 12 feet. So we have to leave 8 feet from the curb to the end of the table so that pedestrians can walk freely back and forth. So they can
So it's
only
going to be against the building, correct?
right
I just want to make
against the
sure.
building. And it has to be it could be no more than a 4-top table. So it would be it would only go out 4 feet.
And just to clarify, Mr. Dansby, you said the notices were removed because you need to make more copies. Have they been replaced?
Yes, ma'am. I did a second canvassing. I think my first one was on Thursday, and then I went out again on Sunday and put more out. So I canvassed. I think total I did like 60 flyers in and around the neighborhood.
Thank you so much.
And just
Thank
like to clarify also that with the removal, it was just one flyer that she saw him remove. And as he stated before, he was running short and he wanted to spread them out. So as he was walking away, he went back, pulled it down, and she saw that. And she called him out on it. They had a conversation about it. And,
It was the most important one, if I'm not mistaken. It's the one that's off the property. That's the important one. The one that's supposed to be on the front door of the location. And that's important.
Ma'am, it is. And I did go back and canvass that whole area again, including that.
no, she's saying that you took the one off on the door of the restaurant.
Oh, no. That's still in the window right now.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead.
All right, thank you. Fior?
Thank you. I just want to clarify that the applicant is going to amend the application to show that there no longer is going to be sidewalk seating on Lincoln Place. So I just wanted to clarify that now with that amendment, the sidewalk seating is 20 seats and the outdoor seating on the street is going to be 8 seats, a total of 28 outdoor seats?
Yes.
So it's outdoor seating will be more seating than indoors? Interesting.
Looks like it by one.
Interesting. Also, I see that you submitted great letters of support, but the letters that you submitted from residents happen to live in the same apartment. Did you speak with any of the other neighbors who happen to live in close proximity to the establishment for letters of support?
I spoke to members of the building, and then I spoke to other people in the community. I didn't ask them for letters of support. I was told to just get them from the building, and I may have. I like thinking now I should have done that, but I've talked to people that live next door. Pastor Torres is one of them. And a lot of other people too, and people who are walking by. I've been in the restaurant just cleaning up generally. This past week I spent a lot of time trying to clean up the sidewalk as well, making that cleaner and stuff. So I spoke to a lot of my neighbors and trying to like engage the community, but I didn't speak to anybody else outside of that building in order to get the letters of like you stated.
Okay. Ariana, hello?
Hi, thank you. Hopefully my audio is coming through.
Great. Sounds great.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Hi, Mr. Dansby. I just had a quick question.
Hello. Can you just tell me who you are, please?
My name is Ariana. I'm of the community as well on Lincoln Place.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Mr. Dansby, thank you for your further details on your new establishment. I am a interior designer working in the hospitality industry, also living on Lincoln Place, and I can speak to the neighbors that I know that also live amongst myself are also extremely talented and creative. And I'm curious if there are opportunities as far as inclusion with the talents that live around this establishment for any opportunities to contribute their talents towards this new entity. I'm an interior designer. There's also artists across the hall from me that are incredible artists that do, I mean, I could just think of so many ways in which I think inclusion and reaching out arms to the neighborhood we could do towards employment opportunities, your hiring process. There's tons of teenagers that live within these buildings as well that I'm sure could use a job. As well as just thinking, my mind automatically thinks to the creative world of packaging design, logos. I also I hated that eyesore of the trash bins, and my creative brain thinks about that as well. So I'm just thinking about the creatives that live amongst us on Lincoln Place, myself included, that have gotten hit from COVID, are always looking for opportunities, and what better way than something a block away. So
Sure,
thank you.
Are you an illustrator, or are you just interior designer, or what is your background?
My background is in interior design specifically.
All right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dansby, and I appreciate even the conversation that you're about to have with Ariana. But I'm going to ask Ariana if you can send your information to the district office, and we'll get it to Mr. Dansby so he can continue this conversation. Okay.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to give you the address for the district office is brooklyncb8@gmail.com. And as soon as you get it to them, we'll get it to Mr. Dansby.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so I just want to know, do we have any more questions before I ask for a motion?
I have one question. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I just want to know if I don't want to mispronounce her name, the lady who wrote the letter, if she had any issues, concerns that had not been addressed. I don't know if she's still with us.
I am. I'm here. I mean, it sounds like Mr. Dansby, like I said, he apologized to me. He did what he did. And whether it was taking down one flyer or 50, I don't know. I don't even care. I can't imagine that he just did it that one time that I saw him and didn't do it any other time. That's, I'm a reasonable person. And reason tells me that that's not true. I do like what I hear about not having seating on on the Lincoln Place side. I like what I hear about figuring out alternative methods of dealing with the trash, because it is a problem. The rats are real, regardless of what the Memphis Soul people say. They're there. I see them. And so, outside of committing his profits to reparations, I guess there's not much I have to say about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to say before I ask for a motion, Mr. Dansby, I just want to be sure that we will receive a fresh application to include your choice of the full liquor license, because it wasn't noted, to remove the option of that Lincoln sidewalk structure that you were planning to have, or at least thinking about it. And also to fill in the hours to include the closing time of 10 p.m. for your outdoor space.
I will take care of that in the morning.
Okay, excellent.
And I'll have
Okay,
it to you by lunchtime tomorrow.
I appreciate that. Thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Callahan
You're
and Mr. Dansby. Do we have a motion?
I move to make a motion to support the new application for please and thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gibbs and Ms. Mohammed. Rob, can you do the roll, please?
Certainly. Gail Branch Mohammed,
Yes.
thank you. Janet Collins,
No.
thank you. James Ellis,
Yes.
thank you. Tamika Gibbs,
Yes.
thank you. Oliver Hart,
Yes.
thank you. Alicia Nocenzo,
Yes.
thank you. Fiora Ortiz Joyner,
Yes.
thank you. Brian Saunders,
Yes.
thank you. Mark Thurton, back around. Gib Vaconi,
Yes.
thank you. Yrsa Weatherspoon,
Yes.
thank you. Robert Witherwax, yes. Deborah Young,
Yes.
thank you. Mark Thurton. So we lost Mark. The motion passes 11 in favor, 1 opposed.
Thank you so much, and good luck in your new business and coming
Thank you.
in the
Thanks so
neighborhood.
much.
And-
Yeah.
And I just want to remind you also that our full board meeting will be November 10th, which is a Wednesday at 6:15. Okay,
Can I mention one thing?
sure.
You didn't repeat the restoration about the job opportunities there also as well?
Yeah, I'm looking for artists. We don't have many walls, as you know, the space is mostly windows. But I am looking for art from the community. I'm looking to hire from people who live around us to staff our restaurant. I'm looking for like the young lady Ariana. This is not going to be our last restaurant, and we already have a interior designer, but I would love to speak to her about whatever ideas she might have, just engage in the community. But yeah, we're going to be hiring, we're going to be promoting chefs in the area so that they can get a leg up and kind of like start their business and things. And so we're pretty excited about being here. And you know, I'm your neighbor, so we're really looking forward to being part of this community.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I just wanted to, there were some other applications or applicants that should have been here this evening. Essence Bar, Meliers, Friends and Lovers. Are any of you represented here?
Essence.
You're who? I'm sorry.
Essence.
Okay. So we don't have any paperwork for you.
Okay, we thought that, well, we just got the email that the meeting was today. The lawyer was supposed to have sent the papers in because they probably was sent in a month before. And we missed that meeting because we never got the email of when the meeting was supposed to start. So what we can do is just send them to you tomorrow, because they've already been filled out.
You can send it tomorrow, but this is the committee this evening. So
Right, I
it's something
understand.
that we're gonna have to table because the
problem.
paperwork has to be here. So
That's no problem.
can you be sure to have it for our next meeting?
Have it or send it to you.
For our next meeting, send it to the district office.
Oh.
Do you have that address, that email
Yes,
address?
we have
Okay,
it.
so you can be prepared to present for our next board meeting, our next Slack meeting.
No problem.
Wonderful. I thank you, and just be sure to send that as soon as you can. If you have it, send it now, and you'll be prepared for next month.
Will
Okay?
do.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions before we leave? Anything that anyone needs to say?
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. And I'm not so sure how to frame it. At our last committee meeting, we took a position regarding Dorset. I think it was Dorset on Washington Avenue. And Then when we came to full board meeting, there was a recommendation not to support the committee. And I just wanted to speak to that and understand the process and how that happened, why that happened, when we as a committee made a voted and made a recommendation and asked for the full board support, and then there was a motion that was counter to what the committee had recommended.
Well, I'm the one who made that motion, so I certainly can speak to that.
Okay.
I was not able to attend, and I apologized at the time because I was not able to attend the the September SLA committee meeting where that application was reviewed. After that meeting took place, I had heard from residents of Washington Avenue expressing a lot of concern about the idea about what the situation had been at Dorset with their outdoor music. I can say again from my perspective with Vanderbilt Avenue, it is very. I can tell you firsthand, having performances and entertainment in the street, it can be very disruptive and troubling for residents who live nearby. So, and I was quite concerned, to be honest with you, Ms. Young, that if the community board established a precedent for having live entertainment in the street, that would be a very unfavorable precedent throughout the community board, including in our neighborhood and even on the street where we manage an open street. So I did not feel comfortable with that precedent, and that's why I made a motion that the community board retain its existing policy of not having any amplified sound in sidewalk cafes and outdoors. And I still feel that that is the right policy for the community board, and obviously the general meeting did as well.
Well, okay. Thank you for disclosing that. But what that raises for me is that you, if I heard you correctly, heard from members, community members, I believe, from Washington Avenue. And as a committee member, what I would have preferred, and I don't know how this could have happened, if maybe you could have had some understanding from us who sat through the meeting, who discussed it thoroughly, and then had a vote. But what it appears, listening to you now, is that you listened to the people from Washington Avenue, and then you made a decision to make a motion that didn't support the committee. So I don't know how we can avoid that in the future. I'm not saying that you might not get other information after a meeting that you weren't able, not you individually, but any one of us. But somehow or other, when we come together as a committee and make a recommendation, and a committee member gets information outside of the committee and then makes a motion contrary to what we voted, somehow that just doesn't feel right. And I don't know how
Ms. Young, I'll tell you candidly, I also heard from committee members who are on the other side of that vote who did not think it was the right vote either. I don't know what the vote was that night. I don't remember reading the minutes, but I don't think it was unanimous.
Well,
no,
it wasn't.
Actually, it wasn't. I have it. It was 8 yes, 5 opposed to the vote.
Yeah, so it would be nice, and usually it's best if the committee is upheld at the general meeting, but it doesn't always happen. I mean, I want to point out we had a land use committee meeting back in September where we had a very important vote. I want to underline the word very important vote on 840 Atlantic Avenue, where the general meeting overrode the land use committee. And the land use committee does not just do a review in one meeting. That was an extensive process where a lot of groundwork was laid, and it was all blown away at the general meeting. And it's unfortunate, but you can't prevent that. The general meeting is a deliberative body where things can be debated.
Well, I don't think the land use meeting is, and I remember that meeting, but I'm not so sure that that's a comparable situation that was much more involved and much more detailed, and there was other issues, I believe, around that. But be that as it may,
but it was a huge majority that supported it at the committee level, and it was not upheld by the general meeting. It can happen.
I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying that the land use, and I don't want to belabor that here because it's unfair to everyone else. But I said what I had to say. I thank you for your feedback. But I have the feelings that I felt about it, and that's what I shared, and that's why I asked the question.
Miss Young, can I ask you, how would you distinguish Dorset from Memphis Soul? They were both establishments that were having amplified music outdoors without prior permitting. And we were clearly, told Memphis Soul that that was wrong of them to do. And many of the committee members at that September meeting were of the same mind with Dorset, that this was not something this board has historically supported, and they were wrong to do it, regardless of the fact that they brought whoever they brought for support. I don't see any distinction between Dorset and Memphis Soul. And I think the committee was right tonight with Memphis Soul to say no more outdoor amplified sound. And I think the committee should have been right in September to say the same thing to Dorset. So I think the ultimate, as Mr. Vicconi points out, I don't like it any more than anyone else does when a committee is overturned because we do the work. But sometimes, the right result comes out in the full board meeting.
And I believe, if I remember, and I could be mistaken, that the difference with Dorset was that given the type of venue that they are, it wasn't so much Dorset as much as it might have been some of the people that they rent their establishment out to. And I think that should have been taken into consideration, and that the proprietor should have had an opportunity to address that via the people they rent out to. But
I see no distinction based on that
it's a matter
characterization.
of opinion. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Wedderburn, please.
I have a couple of things to say about the September meeting. In regards to the action that was taken against the land use matter, that action was not taken by a member of the board or the member of the committee. So what you had is someone who's actually a member of the land use committee in Community Board 9 casting doubt upon the actions of our community. And as you said, Gib, we work very hard to do our work. Spending 2 or 3 hours an evening 2 or 3 times a week is not a small matter of time. So the distinction to be made is the fact that someone on the board decided to upend the result of a committee deliberation. And also, I think the land use vote reflects there was some uncertainty regarding the issue. The person who is a member of the Community Board 9's Land Use Committee was able to plant a seed of doubt as to whether or not we knew what we were talking about. And I know this month we have a very important issue to discuss. We have 2 buildings on Atlantic Avenue, and I know I, for one, am working very hard to make sure that I understand, and those who come to me will understand what's at stake. That's the distinction. So moving on to the next thing. Dorset is an institution that's not open on a regular basis. It's open according to need because one rents an event space. Some of the events that I've attended at Dorset have included a celebration of a city councilwoman's win, a Junior League fundraiser, and a baby shower. So someone who spoke against what I had to say discounted my experience in the community in terms of understanding what a commercial space is. So when we look at institutions in SLAC, we have to be careful and make careful differentiations. And yes, I understand the noise nuisance, and not wanting to set a precedent, but unfortunately, it seemed as if Dorset was targeted, especially the fact that it was a single-story commercial building located on a commercial avenue that is not open on a regular basis, but according to when it is booked. That's the distinction.
So Washington Avenue, in point of fact, is not a commercial avenue. That's zoned residential. That building may be a commercial building, but they have residential neighbors across the street and on either side. So that's not an M zone. That's an R zone. All of Washington Avenue.
With a commercial overlay, certainly.
Well, yeah, but a commercial overlay is a residential zone. So the issue here is not. It really doesn't have, in my mind, a lot to do with what the specifics of Dorset's business is. The issue is if they are given permission to do this, similar permission would have to be entertained for any other business operating an outdoor cafe in Community District 8. Again, I'm going to say, I don't think it's sustainable. And I can say that from personal experience dealing with difficult situations on Vanderbilt Avenue. It just doesn't work. And
I hear you, but that point of view, or the point of view came after the community board's committee's work in December.
Sharon,
So
that's
this was
incorrect.
something that
I
was
expressed
discussed in
exactly
October.
I expressed exactly that viewpoint during the committee meeting, which I was the chair of. I said exactly those words, that this is a slippery slope and this is not a door we want to open. And it has nothing to do with Dorset's particular business model. It's
And you
to
know,
do
and
with the issue of
I
amplified
guess what,
outdoor sound. And
and I
it's not
guess
a
at
line
the
we
end
want
of
to
the
cross.
day, we have to be mindful of the work that people put in when they're present, and to understand that working within the committee and working outside of the community, they're two different forces. Okay, so I would say the corollary between what happened with land use issue, and yes, I was disappointed knowing how much work was put into it, and what happened in the liquor committee are similar but not the same, and we should be mindful and respectful of the work that's being done.
No, I was just mentioning it so I could identify, because I can personally identify with Ms. Young's frustration. It happens.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Ms. Collins, before we end, did you have a comment briefly?
Yes, I do. Doesn't the charter and the bylaws provide for checks and balances in this way? So when a committee approves or disapproves something and it goes to the general membership, isn't that part of the checks and balances, that it's not engraved in stone, that just because the committee approves something or recommends it, that the general membership has to go along with that, and vice versa? Because I remember some years ago, there was an event here on my block. I won't go into it, but I stood up about it. The committee had approved it, and when I stood up and said what I had to say as a community person, the general membership went against that.
Well, to answer
So
your,
it seems like it's put there so that not one group has autonomy.
well, to answer your question, no, there's nothing specific. It's really it's explained by a few people already. It's in the spirit of the work that's being done, and the hope is that the full board will go along and vote along with the recommendation of the committee. But it's been already mentioned, that is not written in stone that it will go that way. So there's you can't. There's never going to be a something written in stone that says you can't do that. So I just really want to make that clear to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just, it just seems to me that, I don't know, that neither body should be taken to task for their decision.
Yes, I agree. I mean, people have their opinions and they should be able to vote accordingly. But it was just mentioned that just having the appreciation of having a committee work on something as a what do you say, sort of a subset or a portion of the full board. So if they're working hard, they're working on behalf of the community as well. So the hope is always, and when for the committee, that when you get to the full board meeting, that other board members would agree. But in some cases they don't.
Well, I think we're setting ourselves up for disappointment if we go on that thought, that because a group of people worked hard on something doesn't mean that they came to the right decision.
I'm just saying what I'm saying. What I'm saying. Yeah, so, but we got to wrap it up because
I'm sure I know,
saying.
But I just wanted to respond to what you said, that we have checks and balances here, and I'm not saying one way or the other, but it seems like all this was put in place not because one group is supposed to follow the vote of another, just because that other group voted one way. I think they should pass the vote according to what they think is right. And
excuse me, Madam Chair.
Regardless of the hard work.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Yes, Mr. Saunders.
Is it possible that, I mean, we still have applicants on this call also? I mean, Is it possible that we can address this at another time or another meeting?
Well, I'm getting ready to end the meeting, Mrs. Saunders. That's what I'm getting ready to do. So this is something that we can take up later because it's 2 hours in and we pretty much have discussed everything that we were discussed tonight in terms of the application, but we absolutely can pick up this string at some other time. So if there aren't any more questions, I really want to wish everyone a good night and a safe week. Okay?
Motion to adjourn?
Yes. Thank you.
See you Wednesday.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.